If you've spent any time on YouTube, TikTok, or even Instagram, then you've probably seen them. These fake trading gurus that are promising turning $100 into $1 million, all while flaunting their green Lamborghini or their massive mansion or flying around in private jets going on these incredible vacations. Well, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be watching a few clips from 4 videos that I picked out that are all about, how to spot fake gurus. And the clips that I've picked in particular are going to help, pinpoint certain things that I want to talk about. So it's going to be a bit of a reaction, pick a section, we'll talk about it, pick another video, another section, we'll talk about it. And these each will kind of lead into, what it is that you need to look out for when it comes to all these fake gurus, right? These videos, I'll link each of these videos down below. So if you want, you can go watch the whole video. They're actually very good watching, and I think worth watching the full video because, they do expose a lot of the things we need to know about when it comes to these fake gurus and what you need to be looking out for. So with that being said, let's dive into the very first video, guys.
All of this is just a marketing tactic to get you to buy their various products, and some of them have even been caught renting or leasing these things to give the illusion of wealth. Obviously, this money is not from trading, or they'd show broker statements, which brings us to selling courses, mentorships, services, private discords, trade alerts, and everything else. Show me someone who claims to be profitable that sells something and has third-party audited broker statements, or even just any broker statements over a year. The only one I know of is Ross Cameron, who deservedly got sued for millions by the US government. For everyone else, this is how they make money, not from trading.
Good place to stop there, guys. Okay, so he's absolutely right about the show-off tactics that a lot of these gurus are using. Many self-proclaimed trading coaches rely on over-the-top lifestyle marketing. For example, their fancy cars, their wads of cash, them flying on private jets. These are all tactics to lure people in, lure you, someone who's looking to get that lifestyle in, right? They're showing you, look, I've got this lifestyle. So if you want that lifestyle, come, I'll show you how to get it. So that is a very, very smart marketing tactic that these gurus are using, because we have that sense of FOMO when we're watching these gurus live this incredible lifestyle. But what he's talking about in this video is a lot of it is fake. You've got to be very careful because you can very easily rent a mansion, a property that, yes, it's going to cost you a bit of money, but it's not going to cost what it would be to buy that or own that. So a lot of what these guys are showing are rented lifestyles, right? And pretending that they are their own, and it's all used so that they can sell a course, right? And ultimately that's where they make their money back to pay off all this stuff that they're showing off, and then that is their way of actually getting quite a lot of income from you guys who are believing that you can get that lifestyle as well, right? So they're making their money by selling you the course. And unfortunately, the biggest problem with this is it's normally the most vulnerable of traders that are the ones that get caught, right? The guys that want this lifestyle so badly because they want out of what they're currently in, or they don't have much money, and all they dream of is that lifestyle, right? So for those people, it's just a little bit easier to kind of, get them, reel them in because they want it so badly. I've seen so many stories recently about people getting caught up in this web of fake guruness. For example, recently I read a story about a 22-year-old who lost $47,000 after following a TikTok influencer who was, selling the world. I also read about a retired teacher who lost most of her pension to penny stocks because some YouTuber was promoting these penny stocks and saying, guaranteeing that she would double, triple, quadruple her money. And that wasn't the case. Ended up losing most of her pension, And the thing is, these people were not naive. They were just simply misled by very slick marketing. Now, as Investopedia warns, scammers and suspicious trading platforms often promise guaranteed profits and pressure you into quick action. Now, the truth is, legitimate educators, people that are truly good at what they're doing and are actually teaching the trade, they are not going to guarantee any returns because they know how the financial market works. They know how risky it is. So they will never, ever be guaranteeing anything, right? They will teach you the trade and they will probably warn you to be very, very careful, and they'll give you all the right bits of information to set you on your journey. And they're never going to be lying to you and telling you that, we guarantee that you're going to make this, that, and the other. One thing I want you to keep in mind off the back of this little clip is the more luxurious the lifestyle seems, the more skeptical you should be, right? So if they are flaunting all this incredible stuff, just be very, very careful, guys, because the second you start going, ooh, wow, I want that, because there's that sense of greed, that sense of I want, or FOMO, like I talked about. Don't fall into that trap. Just be very careful. Take a step back and say, whoa, 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 I got to be careful here, you know, because that is, like I said, is how they reel in, especially the most vulnerable. Okay, so with that being said, let's go and have a look at the next clip.
Trading and investing, sometimes I lose money in trading and investing. Short term, it's fine. But for the most part, the money comes from many different sources. Currently, I have 11 different income sources.
11 different income sources, and each one of them more scammy than the last. Because to be the best of the best, you gotta tell people you're the best of the best. How else are they gonna know? It certainly isn't through any kind of shared knowledge or verified expertise, because you see, a fake guru will always tell you how good they are. They'll never show you how good they are.
And you know, that really showed it in 2021, where at my agency, IG Media, we had our best year, and we also had our best single month at $160,000 in profit.
Case in point, you see, from company records, we already know that that was a lie. Your man's company never actually earned any money, because this is what's called the fake guru pump and dump, where they pump the shit out of their own brand, only for
Okay, guys, so this video, it's a little bit more comical. He makes a joke of it. He's kind of laughing at the fact, you know, that we showed two gurus there that are basically telling you what it is they are good at and what they've done and how much they've made, but they don't ever show you, right? So he kind of makes a joke of it. He makes light of it, but it is quite serious, because it is a very, very real tactic that a lot of these gurus will do. And it's mixed with what I first talked about, where they're showing you in terms of what I've got, you know, what it is I'm getting as a result of trading, which often isn't the case. And also telling you, like, going on and on and on about all the different successes, right? I have 11 companies and all of them are making $1 million. My company in its first month made 160,000. Now, fortunately, he had some evidence to prove that that wasn't the case, but we can't always get that evidence, right? But it's something that you've got to be careful of. You know, these gurus that are always shoving the things that they've done. I've made all this, I've done this, shoving it down your throat in a way that, you know, makes you think, oh my gosh, this guy's, you know, he's really good because he says he's good. Just be very careful of that, guys. You know, unfortunately, a lot of the tactics the gurus use now, there's a lot of screenshots where they can manipulate. There's a lot of manipulation. So they are kind of backing what they say with fake screenshots, fake trading accounts. So it is very difficult. But if you have these gurus that are constantly telling you how good they are, never really showing you or giving you any substantial evidence to back up what they're saying, just be very, very careful, okay? And a lot of the times they'll use, you know, jargon and big words to try and like throw it down your throat to make it seem like they know what they're talking about. But a lot of the times, a lot of the words they're saying, a lot of the things they're talking about, they don't actually know themselves. A lot of these guys, you have to understand, are just very good marketers, right? So they know how to market, they know how to bamboozle you with all these words and things that make it seem like they know what they're doing. But if you're going to follow someone, you're going to put money down, don't just let the fact that he's told you he's good at it be enough. So with that being said, let's go on to the third clip.
All the way from Miami, the man himself, Alex G.
what a smorgasbord of bullshit. I can almost smell those interviews from here. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the fake trader interview industry and finding out why they're so keen to avoid asking any tough questions. So let's dive right in and take a look at some of said interviews, starting with a familiar face.
We're here with the man himself. In 9 weeks, he's taken $100 to over $300,000. Ladies and gentlemen, we got FX Alex G, aka, or better known as Alex Gonzalez, in the building.
Now, I've already covered Alex's $100 to $1 million series and shown that it's about as real as whatever's in Laura Loomer's face. So with his unbelievable claim of increasing his $100 by 999,900% in just 90 days, let's see how the Forex Beginner podcast handles such claims.
Watching you take this $100 and multiply it to a couple thousand and multiply it to tens of thousands and go past past the 100,000 mark, 200,000. Now this past week, 300,000. It has eliminated excuses for me.
100%.
My boys are here. We're filming right now.
I can see why he has used these clips. The interviewer goes straight into the fact that you've shown that you've turned $100 into 1,000, 1,000 into 10,000, and 10,000 to 100,000. So now you've eliminated any kind of excuses or any people to question that. No, rubbish. I think that's, if anything, that's given more reason for people to ask. Surely the interviewer can go much deeper with his questions there, right? He can ask a lot of questions that could definitely put the guy getting interviewed on the back foot and make him really kind of think about his answers. But they don't do that. They kind of just highlight the amazing stuff. Wow, you did this, you did that. That's amazing, right? The point of this is that a lot of channels pay so-called traders to share success stories, and then they'll use those interviews, you know, as their social proof, right? We were interviewed by this big channel. This channel interviewed, therefore we must be legit. But the thing is, most gurus don't actually make their money from trading, right? So a lot of these interviews are highlighting the fact that these guys are good traders, right? Because that is what sells. That's what's making them sell their courses, right? Everything that's happening seems to be pointed in the direction of you buying that course, right? So you've got to be very careful. Yes, we're seeing a lot of these interviews come up, and I'm not saying all of these interviewing channels are like this, but you've got to be very careful. You know, you want to see interviews that are actually asking the harder questions, the questions that you and I would like to ask these gurus if we were sitting opposite them. These questions very rarely seem to get asked, right? This is what this bit is highlighting, right? You've got to be very careful, because a lot of what these gurus are showing, they're choosing to show, right? You got to remember that these are all set up interviews. Everything that these guys are showing are all very set up, and I know that's what marketing is, and like I keep saying, these guys are very good at marketing, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that, right? If these guys are selling courses that actually end up helping people, no problem at all. My problem comes when there's people selling courses that ends up costing people everything, right? Not only are they putting money into the course, but then they're actually having to put their money into an account to trade the system, to do what it is they're talking about, and they end up losing. They end up, you know, maybe it's following signals. You know, these signals always appear to never lose, and then the second, why is it the second you jump onto these signals, they start losing? Oh, is it just a bad week? No, it's just that everything you've seen was controlled. I don't have a problem with the fact that these guys are good marketers. That's not the problem. The problem is that they are lying about what it is they're actually doing. They are not making all of their money from the trading. A lot of these guys are getting the money from them selling the course because they're pretending to be good at trading, right? And there's a big difference. There's a big difference there. Like, I've got no problem with a trader that is very good at trading, that sells you a course, and you end up doing well as a result of that, right? Another major red flag is absence of verified track record. So whenever you are signing up for these things, you go to, well, you'll normally be led to their website, all of the information on their website, but there's no verified track record on their website, right? You know, there's nothing there that is grounded in some kind of fact or, you know, proof. And a lot of them also, you've got to look deeper into the site. Is there a terms and conditions? Is there, you know, some small print that you can read that is kind of, you know, giving you some kind of confidence about the website, you know? And another thing that I really don't like is once you do sign up for these things, because I myself have signed up for these things. I'm always testing things. I'm always checking things. So I've seen the industry and I know how it works. I remember recently I signed up for, it wasn't even a course or anything like that. It was a tool that was going to help me track my data based on my own stuff. So it wasn't even to do with that. And as it turned out, this was sold by one of these gurus. One of the gurus was telling that this is the most amazing platform to track all your stuff. And as a result of that, he's, you know, done well. That wasn't the reason, because I was looking for a tracking platform, but I bought it and it was nothing like what I was expecting. Nothing like that guru was actually saying it was like. But the worst thing about that is the second I tried to cancel my subscription, there was nowhere that I could cancel my subscription. I could not get out of it. And it took me 3 months to be able to get out of this subscription, going backwards and forwards with the support guys, saying it's ridiculous that there's no way on your side that I can just cancel. They will not change that, guaranteed. So be very careful. I should have got out after my first month. They ended up taking 4 payments from me because I just could not get out. And I think they do that to every single person that signs up. They're making so much money from people that don't even want to be there. So just be very, very careful. It's another just extra added tip that I wanted to add in there. So let's have a look at the clip number 4.
Kelly OG had the audacity to post a video where she talks about exposing the trading industry. So ironic when she's not even part of the trading community, huh? Because I can assure you guys, that she's never executed a trade with real money before. And yes, she's the one who needs to be exposed for all the crimes she's committing. Let's not forget her outrageous claims of turning $26 into $100,000 in just 9 months, when she was only 19, and conveniently, all the proof started showing up only after she joined forces with Sway Markets. Quite the coincidence, don't you think? Just goes to show what an offshore broker can do to inflate someone's trading gains. Just like our next friend, who claims to have turned $50 into $100,000 at the tender age of 20. They should be featured in a new book called Market Wizards, the Unbelievable Edition.
So the reason I want to show that is because he's talking about this kind of area where these gurus that are telling you that they're good at trading and they are showing you some things, but why they are not legitimate, because they are often working with illegitimate brokers, right? Brokers, offshore brokers that are shady brokers. And through these brokers, they have partnerships and they are able to basically set up accounts that is not real money. Number one, they can trade it and make it appear like it's a live account and it's real money, and they will trade on that until they hit the big trade. That's the trade they'll show you. But these brokers are working with them, because at the end of the day, these guys are also going to be shouting out the broker and saying that they have a big deal with the broker, that if you sign up with a broker, you're going to get 100% bonus on whatever you put in. And these brokers are also feeding off of this, right? So the brokers in a lot of cases can be a part of this, right? But then the other thing I wanted to also point out here, you know, these traders that are with brokers are normally the traders that have higher numbers of followers, right? So that's kind of when these guys will start getting these partnerships with the brokers. So it's almost like the more popular these gurus, the fake gurus get, the easier it gets to pull the smoke over your eyes or whatever you want to say, because they start being able to work hand in hand with the brokers, right? But you've got to remember that popularity does not equal profitability, right? Like I said, a lot of these guys are very good marketers. They're good at what they do. They're good at doing YouTube. They're very good at creating videos that can get views. They're good at creating, you know, series that can get subscribers, this and the other. But that does not necessarily mean they are good traders. They are profitable traders. They're just very good at making it appear that way, right? And unfortunately, the bigger they get, the easier it gets to scam. But that's not to say that all the big accounts on YouTube are scammers. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is you've just got to be very careful, and just be very careful when these guys are giving out, you know, these kind of specials and deals with brokers, especially the brokers they're using. If these guys are showing you track records and these are the brokers they're using, and then they are also giving you a code or a link to go join that broker, just be very careful, because it's all part of the plan. These guys are getting kickbacks. The brokers are getting kickbacks. The brokers want you in because they know you're probably going to end up losing your money. They take your money. So it's a win-win for both the guru and the broker. And this is just something you've got to be very, very careful, guys. So just before I finish off now, I want to talk about some statistics, right? And the statistics just don't go quite hand in hand with what a lot of these gurus are doing, right? For example, multiple studies show that, you know, anywhere between 70 and 97% of day traders will lose money. Another study found that 97% of futures traders lost money over 300 days, and that only 1.1% of these traders actually earned more than the minimum wage, right? 1.1%. Now, with that being said, it's almost like every single YouTuber, every single trading guru, or at least every single one of the profitable traders in these statistics are on YouTube, right? Because there's only a very small percentage of traders that are actually profitable, but yet we see so many trading gurus on all the social platforms. So how is it there can be so many profitable trading gurus that are making a ridiculous amount of money? It must mean that every single person that is profitable in trading becomes a guru, right? No, that's not the case, right? It doesn't quite work out, right? Another stat I want to throw your way is that the CFTC warns that between 50 to 74% of retail self-directed Forex accounts will lose money, right? Now, with odds like that, any promise of easy money should set off alarms, right? With those stats, with stats that are so negative, you know, with an industry that is so hard to be profitable from a statistical point of view, right? This is not just people saying it. This is statistics saying that a very small percentage of people are ever profitable trading the Forex or in the futures market. Why is it that, you know, these traders, these gurus can so easily guarantee you are going to make money with stats like this? There's no way. There's no way. And that's why you've got to be very careful. You've got to make sure that you are never ever signing up for something because they have guaranteed you will make money, right? So when there's a big influencer promising you all the riches, just be very careful. Okay, with that being said, guys, let's go with a final guide on how to vet trading gurus, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to follow someone who knows what they're doing, right? It's a good thing to have a mentor because you want to have someone that you look up to, someone that you know can trade, someone that you can see is a legitimate trader and you just want to learn from them. That's not a bad thing. Or even if you want to sign up for a course because you know that that course is going to better your trading career. What are some of the things you can do, right? How can you vet some of these trading gurus, right? So the first thing I would say is have a look at their websites and try and, make sure that you are checking their credentials and the regulations. Have a look at their website. Have you got any sign of some kind of credentials or some kind of, legitimate number, legitimate address, web address? If they're linking to brokers, for example, make sure those brokers are legit. If those brokers are in some weird country, offshore, be very careful. Why are they promoting those sort of things? So look at the people they tie to, look at everything they are like also pushing and selling and promoting on their videos. Have a look at those. Do they seem legit? Is everything about what they are talking about legit? Make sure that everything is regulated and everything looks good. If anything seems shady, be very careful. The next one is verify track records, which is very hard to do, but if you can potentially ask the guru for some kind of audited brokerage statements, then again, if he sends them to you, where's the broker, right? Have a look at the broker first. If it's a shady broker, be very careful. If they are giving you brokerage statements from legitimate brokers, then that's worth a little bit more as well. And then also try and avoid, the gurus whose main income appears to be coming from the courses, right? Because you want to follow someone or at least take a course or a thing from the people that legitimately seem to be making their money from the trading. And the fact that they're selling the course is more just because they want to help us as traders. They're not going to charge the earth for these courses. They are legitimately doing it because they want to, pass on their knowledge. And I think sometimes it's very easy to see, sometimes not, but I think a lot of the times you can see that, right? The next one is beware of unrealistic promises, guys. If these traders ever guarantee you anything, if they say to you, you are going to get guaranteed profits, there's going to be fixed monthly returns, claims that you're going to double your money, all of this kind of stuff, these are very, very classic scammy tactics. So be very, very careful, right? Don't fall for the guarantees. There should never be a guarantee when it comes to trading. The next thing is do your own research, guys. Make sure you're looking at independent reviews. Don't only look at the reviews that you're getting on the trader, his own website, because these are all going to be used to promote himself. They're going to be in a lot of cases not really true. They're going to be his friends promoting it. So go to legitimate review sites. Make sure you can verify the website, see how long the website's been up and around for. Try and get some information on the trader. Look back. Is there, what has he done? How long has he been trading for? Has he been in the industry for a long time? If he's fairly new to the industry and all of a sudden he's teaching, then we've got to be very careful. Then the next thing I want to talk about is making sure that you understand the odds, right? I've talked about the statistics. When you're coming into trading, you've got to know that you're entering an arena where the odds are stacked against you, right? You walking into this arena getting ready to fight titans, right? And you're just going to be a small little pea in this massive arena fighting these gods. And yes, you might get the odd hit, but you've got to make sure you're moving, you're dodging, and you're just taking the shots when you can, right? So make sure that you understand the odds, because I've talked about that. We know that, all of these statistics always thrown at us always tell us that very small percentage of people are ever actually consistently profitable in this industry, right? So go into it knowing that, learn your craft and do a lot of work yourself. Don't rely on everyone, do the hard work yourself, because hard work will pay, guys. Don't ever come into this and look for a shortcut, because that's where you're going to get burned, right? So in the closing remarks, what can I say? Just be aware that these gurus are not going anywhere. There's probably going to be more and more and more of them. But if you've got all of what I talked about in the back of your head, you know what you're going into, you understand the trading industry, the trading arena, you're going, the odds are against you. Just make sure that your eyes are open and you understand that this is the world you live in, right? There's going to be a lot of people promising you all sorts, but don't let that guide you to the wrong decision, right? So I would say always try and start by getting your own education, because there's a lot of information out there that you can get a deep understanding of the whole industry trading before you even start looking for the gurus, because then I think it'll be easier for you to start spotting the gurus that are BS, because you yourself will have some understanding of the industry and you'll be able to understand if these people are just talking out of their what. You've also got to be very careful when people are promising you systems that are gonna do this then the other without really backing it up. You guys know here at Blue Edge Financial we have got a product, we have a system. I'm not going to use this video to even push it, because that would just seem wrong, right? Because then I know I'm going to get a lot of people saying, oh, you're doing exactly that. But The one thing I will say is here at Blue Edge Financial, we have a massive community where we allow anyone to join. If you want to join the Discord community, the link is down below. Join our Discord community. I'm not even telling you to sign up. Join the Discord community and go have a look at our community. Our community, you know, is constantly talking about our product, talking about how good it is. And we have got stats to back up everything we do, right? You know, there's a difference when people are talking but not showing. I feel like here at Blue Edge, we do a lot of showing rather than talking. We are always showing in our Discord community all of our wins, legitimate wins where people are passing, you know, prop firm challenges, getting payouts. And if this is something you are interested in, the link is in the description down below to go to the website. So if you want to go have a look at that, it's www.propfarming.com. Have a look at the product, have a look, there's a demo video. Get yourself a system that actually works, right? Because there's a lot out there that doesn't. So if you are looking for a system, then this is it. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found some value in this because there's a lot of people that can get hurt out there when they are just picking the wrong people. So just be very careful out there, guys. And I hope this helped in some sort of way. If you did like the video, like the video. If you want more of this, I'm going to be doing a lot more of these, you know, kind of reaction videos, because I think the reaction videos are a very cool way to kind of not only react to what other people are doing, but then use that to kind of strike up a conversation, a discussion about that topic. So I love this kind of stuff. I'm going to be bringing more of these kind of reaction videos your way. So if you are interested, subscribe. What are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe. With that being said, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.